Hello, guys. Welcome to one more lesson. I hope that you are doing great. And today, our objective is to learn about the simple past or how we can talk about the past in English. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys. The first thing that we are going to talk about today it is the structure of our lesson. When we talk about past simple in this lesson, first of all, we will see when we use the simple past because it is important that we understand in what situations we use this type of communication, this structure. We are going to see how to use it. We are going to understand the difference between regular and irregular verbs. If you don't know or if you are not familiar with these terms, don't worry because today we are going to get to know them. We are going to talk about something called time markers, as you can see here, and we are going to do an exercise together. So, first of all, guys, let's see when we can use this construction. Here it is, there is an image of a handsome young man. and here, guys, we have an explanation. So let's read this together. The simple past tense is used to talk about things that happened or existed before now. It emphasizes that the action is finished. Let's stop here a second and let's discuss about this. The first thing that we can mention, guys, is that the simple past talks about things that happened or existed before this present moment, which we can describe as past. And emphasizes, so it describes, it informs an action that is finished. For example, I could tell you that yesterday I worked, I studied, I played games, I read a book, I had lunch, I had dinner. All of these activities are describing the events that happened yesterday, right? The day before today. For example, today is Thursday that I am recording this video. Yesterday was Wednesday. Tomorrow will be Friday. Okay, so now we know that simple past is used to talk about past events. Let's see some possibilities. First, guys, focus in the affirmative. Yes, let's focus in the affirmative. Let me even take this guy and put a little bit to the side so that we can focus on that. You can stay right here. Okay, so there we have affirmative. And follow me on this journey. The first sentence that we have, guys, is describing I studied in the morning. Can you see something different here? Because normally we would say I study in the mornings. Can you see that here I say I study in the mornings? When I say this, guys, I am referring to routine or activities that they usually happen. But since I am talking about the morning, which is a finished period in the past, you see that I say I studied in the morning. He worked yesterday. And then you identify this pattern, guys. ED, right? Here and here. This is what we call, guys, regular verbs. Regular verbs, we are going to discuss this in more depth a little bit after in our lesson, but I can already tell you that some important regular verbs are study, work, play, we have clean, for example. And when I take these verbs, guys, and I put them in the past, I have studied, for example. So when I say I study, I normally study. I study English. I study Italian. I study languages. I study mathematics. And then you can complete this with the topic that you study. Work, worked. Play, played. Clean, cleaned. And then you see in the regular verbs, we have this ed possibilities, okay? Just for you to get to know these guys and start to get familiar with them. But it would be perfect if all the verbs in English, they would follow all of this pattern, this repetition, wouldn't it? However, we have verbs that they are a little bit different. For example, I don't say I eated pizza, we say I ate or she ate pizza last night. We traveled last year. This is another regular verb. But for example, imagine that I say this. We went to Italy last year. Now I have this verb here, went. Went, guys, is the past of go. And this is when we start to get familiar with the irregular verbs. Let's add them here. When we describe, guys, about the irregular verbs, they don't follow a specific formula. Yes, they are different. We don't simply add the ed. They are irregular after all. So, for example, important irregular verbs are go. Other important verb is verb to be, irregular verb. We are going to have a lesson just talking about verb to be, so don't worry if some discussion on verb to be is not completely clear today. We are going to talk more about it. Eat, drink, and get, for example. The past of go, guys, is went. The past of verb to be can be either was or were, depending on the person. Eat, ate, drink, drank, and get, got. That's it. So the irregular verbs, well, they are different. We modify them. And one interesting suggestion, guys, in relation to simple past and affirmative is that you have the subject. The subject can be, for example, I, you, he, she, it, we, and they, right? So this little emoji here, this nice emoji, relaxing with the sunglasses, is representing a person, is representing the subject. This guy is the, oh my goodness, my calligraphy, subject. Yeah, so this guy's here, I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. And this verb, guys, is in what we call the second column. The second column of verbal conjugations. For instance, study is the first column, right? Study, work, play, and then in the second column we have studied, worked, played. Same thing with the irregular verbs. Okay, so before we continue to the negative and the interrogative, let's see some irregular verbs. Regular versus irregular verbs. By the way, guys, if you are with some doubt, don't worry, return the video, watch this lesson again, and you will see that regular and irregular verbs, they are actually very useful and very important and not that difficult. So we have regular verbs. These verbs will always end with ed, this particle ed, when they are put in the past. So we have these verbs, work, worked, play, played, study, studied, travel, traveled. And then we perceive the pattern here, ed, right? Pretty straightforward. There we go. The irregular verbs, on the other hand, things got a little bit more different, a little bit more interesting. Things got a bit more complicated with the irregular verbs because they don't follow a specific pattern. So we have these verbs, eat, ate, go, went, drink, drank, take, took. This is the conjugation of these verbs in the past. And then we could say, for example, I ate pizza last night, for instance. She went to her job by by car, for instance. And then you see that we just use the subject I, in this case she, and then the verb we want to describe. Okay, so far so good. Let's get going then. So far, guys, we discussed about the when to use the simple past, that it is to talk about finished actions. We started we started learning about how to use it in affirmative, yes, in positive. And we have seen a little bit about regular and irregular verbs. But what happens when I want to describe, inform a negative information? Then things get a little bit interesting. For example, we have this regular and irregular. I'm going to put these guys over here. Yes, so they don't enter in the flow of our discussion. Here we go. And now, guys, perceive these differences. Let's take the negative and return it to its place. And we have now, guys, these same sentences that were in affirmative in negative. For example, I studied in the morning becomes I didn't study. I didn't study. Yeah. So you see that the verb is normal. I didn't study in the morning. He didn't work yesterday. She didn't or did not. Didn't represents the same as did not. She did not eat pizza last night. And we didn't travel last year. So the negative in simple past is actually pretty simple because we just need to include did with not, that is necessary, and the verb is in the base form, so we don't change the verb. So when we say regular and irregular verbs, we use these guys for affirmative sentences, most of the cases. Yes, the regular and irregular, the second column. Because in negative, the verb doesn't change. I just say, I didn't study. And then perceive, guys, that I don't say, I don't studied. That's not very good, is it? I don't studied. He don't worked. Yeah. We don't conjugate the verb. We conjugate the auxiliary. So, I don't studied. No. We can scratch there. There we go. And then here, the same case. Let's see if we can do it. There it is. Amazing. So we say, I didn't study. Yeah. Take a look here. I did not study. Yeah. He didn't work. Okay, guys. And the question is very similar to negative because in the negative, I just use did and then I'm good to go. And then I include the verb. In the interrogative, the situation is pretty similar because we have did plus the person and then the verb. Take a look in these examples that we have now. Did you study in the morning? Did he work yesterday? Did she eat pizza last night? Did they travel last year? So you see that now we just include did before the person, did you, did he, did she, and then the verb is normal. It is in the base form. I'm not conjugating that. All right, guys. So we have here how we can express the simple past in affirmative, negative, and in interrogative. Take notes of this before you continue. It is important that you actively take notes, guys, so you can retain more information. So, having said that, let's continue. One point that I would like to discuss with you guys, so we discussed about when to use, how to use, what is a regular and irregular verbs, and let's talk now about time markers, because this is actually very important in simple past. These are, guys, the different possibilities that we use time markers with the simple past. We will say, for example, last, and then some event or some period in the past. Last night. So you can describe maybe an affirmative, a negative, or interrogative with last night. Did you watch TV last night? I didn't watch TV. Or I watched TV last night. So last week, last month. So we use last plus some sort of period in the past. Another possibility is when we have n. N is representing number, any number of period ago. So 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, or 4 days ago, 5, 10 days ago. 3 weeks ago, and then perceive the usage of ago to talk about the past, and then 5 months ago. Another possibility for the simple past is when we use when plus some situation. For example, when I was a child, yes, or when I was young. And then we complete this with the simple past. So these are the time markers that we normally use with the simple past. To finish our class, which is already 17 minutes long, I hope you are enjoying. If you are enjoying, please subscribe to Speak Now's channel. Leave a comment of what you are thinking of this class, if you think it is easy, if you think it is difficult. And now, let's wrap up with our exercise. I have here, guys, 10 sentences. Let's focus on this now. We have 10 sentences that are using the simple past. Yesterday I blank, or I have a gap there, with a verb watch. Yes. So what is your mission, guys? Pause this video and complete this exercise by yourself. Yes. Pause the video, use the notes that you have taken previously, return to the video if you think it's necessary, but it is very important that you practice. So pause this video and try to complete by yourself. And just be attentive when I have not there, this is negative. So you will use did not. That's a tip. So before continuing, pause the video, and once you finished, I will be waiting for you. Okay, I hope you have completed the exercise. If you haven't, pause the video and do it. And now let's do this exercise together, and then you can check your answers. Yesterday, I watched a movie at home. Regular verb. They visited their grandparents last weekend. Another regular verb. He studied for the exam all night. Regular verb as well. Here we have, guys, a negative. So then what we can do is he didn't go to the party because he had to work. I hope that you could get this right. We traveled to Europe last summer, regular verb. The company didn't announce its new product last week. It didn't because it is negative. She graduated from college 3 years ago. They didn't play soccer after school yesterday. I met. The past of meet, guys, is Met. I met my best friend in high school. And then finally, he cooked dinner for his family last night. Okay, guys, so this is it for our lesson today. I hope that you have enjoyed, and we see each other next time. Don't forget to be awesome. All the best. Bye bye.